What happens when a front office stops playing nice and starts playing inevitable? What happens when a locker room that's already humming hears the rumor that could turn confidence into fear for every defense on the schedule? And what happens when the whispers leaking out of Hollis Hall aren't about setbacks or delays, but about a plan so bold it could rewrite the NFC North in one swing? If you felt your pulse spike just now, good. Hold it there. Because tonight, we're following smoke that doesn't smell like clickbait. It smells like January football in Chicago. Welcome back to Bears News Fan Report, the heartbeat of this fan base. Here we don't throw empty headlines, we deliver the full blueprint. In this video, you're getting everything: the rumor itself, the on-field fit, the culture test, the cap math, the trade or sign-in structure mechanics, the 3 timelines that matter, and the early tells you can spot before any national insider dares to say it out loud. If you're here to dream like a fan and think like a GM, you're in the right room. Hit subscribe now so you don't miss the film session I'll drop if this accelerates. Start with the stakes. Chicago is done being a nice story. The line moves people. The quarterback room has a star who can throw you open or run you out of your shell. The receiver group is no longer hypothetical. There's real separation, real power after the catch, and a rookie spark who's turning heads at practice. But January doesn't care about vibes. It punishes indecision and rewards inevitability. So the question in the building has shifted from "Are we ready?" to "How do we make it non-negotiable?" Zoom in on the rumor's skeleton before we add muscle. The Bears are studying a single move that would compress the offense's margin for error, slam the door on 3rd and short, and make defensive coordinators pick their poison in the red zone. It's the kind of addition that changes how corners play leverage, how safeties cheat the box, and how linebackers breathe. Think about a weapon who erases bad down and distance and turns play action from threat to punishment. Schematically, this is a marriage between a decisive QB and a back who forces the second level to hesitate on every snap. Inside zone becomes a lie detector. Duo becomes a sledgehammer. Mid-zone from under center becomes a runway. Counter with a backside. Tight end sift becomes a trap. Then layer the pass game, Texas, angle, routes that make a Mike stumble, wheel tags off mesh that pull a safety into a panic turn, motion to empty that isolates a linebacker on an island with no sunscreen. You want January edges. This is how. You manufacture them, but this is Chicago. Culture is the gatekeeper. If you come here, you carry your lunch pail, not your brand. You don't just run, you finish. You don't just block, you dent. The back we're hinting at is more than a fantasy stat sheet. He's a tempo setter in meetings, a standards guy in lifts, and a "give me the ball when it's dark and loud" voice on 3rd and 3. That matters here. The city can smell pretend. This is about truth. How do we know this isn't smoke for smoke's sake? You watch for patterns. Quiet restructures that create cushion without headlines. Agents who make unrelated Midwest stops. Beat writers who suddenly shift from individual hype pieces to language like organizational alignment and optionalities. You won't get a banner, you'll get a silence. And if you know what silence means in August and September, you've been around this league. Obstacles exist. We're grown-ups. Price, pride, and politics. You don't raid a contender's roster without overpaying somewhere. You may need a creative multi-asset package. You may need to structure cash flows to be light in year 1 and explosive in year 2 when the window is widest. You may need to call a third team to trade a player they value differently than you do. But the question is simple. Does this raise trophy odds enough to justify the pain? If the answer is yes, you live with the bruise on draft weekend. Before we say the name, build the silhouette. An NFC East superstar who runs like thunder and catches like a wideout. A back who can turn a check down into a siren. A player who makes safeties cheat, corners tackle, and coordinators cry. Someone whose cadence matches a QB who plays with jazz. Timing, structure first, improvisation only when necessary. Pair that with a slot technician and a rookie spark, and you've got geometry that keeps defensive rules in a blender. Deep breath, Chicago. The name everyone whispers and nobody wants to jinx. Saquon Barkley. Let it hit. Picture the horseshoe drills at Halas Hall, where linebackers take one false step and Saquon is past the hash. Picture 2nd and 6 turning into 3rd and 1 because he fell forward after dragging 2 men. Picture the high red zone, condensed splits, orbit motion, fake split zone with a TE peel, and Saquon selling inside before bouncing out to daylight while your QB boots clean the opposite way. This is not a luxury toy. This is a leverage machine. Barkley's lower body power plus his suddenness at the cut point changes your menu from "what do we like" to "what do they hate." Let's go football nerd for a minute. In 11 personnel, you marry duo and glance. Run duo, force the safety to trigger, then throw glance to the X when the hook defender bites. And here's the kicker. Saquon's presence forces the safety to step downhill faster. In 12 personnel, you sell wide zone with a sift block. Bring the backside TE across and release him late, and tag an angle to punish any linebacker who buddies up to the A-gap. On 3rd and short, you can run crack toss to the boundary with a late pulling guard, or you can fake it and hit the TE on the leak because the entire second level just chased 26. That's gravity. That's value. What about the room you already love? Respect is mandatory. You don't burn bridges for headlines. The message to the backs is clarity. Roles sharpen, volume redistributes, payoffs increase. The message to the QB is peace. You don't have to be a superhero on every snap. The message to the line is joy. Your blocks matter more because the cut point is lethal. And to the receivers, congratulations. You're about to see more single high than you've seen since high school. DJ Moore in space with a safety stepping. Downhill one step too early is a scheduled disaster for defensive coordinators. Add the rookie spark on option routes and the full picture is rude. Mid-video promise because this community rides with us. If this rumor cooks, I'll drop a film room where we stack Saquon's 3 favorite gap concepts on top of Chicago's current run inventory, then overlay the play-action shots that punish it, subscribe, and comment "run game" if you want it. We'll break it down frame by frame so you can see exactly why linebackers start squinting and why safeties start praying. Let's confront the parallel tension because this channel doesn't hide from it. The secondary has to be healthy enough to keep games scriptable. If Jalen Johnson's timeline wobbles or the depth behind CB2 takes a hit, your glorious 27-20 plan can become 34-31 chaos. That means the pass rush must show teeth early, and the staff must call games with courage, steal a possession with a 4th and short, deploy simulated pressures to muddy early downs, and keep the offense on schedule so your defense plays with a lead. Saquon doesn't fix coverage. He fixes stress. Make the opponent chase your pace, and your DBs defend fewer high-leverage snaps. Now, the money. Structuring this is not witchcraft, it's discipline. You'd front certain guarantees to satisfy the market while using option bonuses and void. Years to keep year 1 cap lower than the headline suggests. Tie escalators to playoff weeks, snap counts, and rushing receiving thresholds. Protect your downside with per-game active bonuses. The league is full of cap can't-be-done stories that get done when the target is real. Chicago has room to be creative without detonating future flexibility if the front office stays surgical. Price tag? Expensive. But expensive is not the same as reckless. If a premium pick goes out, the next 3 drafts become intentional, not cute. Double up on value positions, interior O-line depth, edge traits on day 2, coverage players who can run. You win the transaction. Twice by drafting with ruthless clarity. And remember, when you're climbing the mountain, you spend equity on altitude. Timeline check. 3 windows. First, the shock window. Unusual movement triggered by an injury elsewhere or a leverage swing that forces phones to ring. Second, the slow burn. Conversations framed as hypothetical, while both sides build optionality into their off-seasons. Third, leverage theater. The rumor's existence raises standards for everyone in the room, even if nothing happens. You want early tells? Watch for a week of no comment in place of verbose coach speak, a small cluster of restructures, and agents spotted within an Uber ride of O'Hare. Let's talk identity, because this is the Chicago filter. Saquon here isn't a billboard, he's a promise. 3rd and 4 becomes a choice for the defense. Spin down and die outside, or stay light and die inside. Red zone becomes adult football, heavy personnel with condensed splits, motion to force communication, and a back who makes indecision expensive. 2-minute drill becomes anti-panic, leak him late on a check release, punish the hook player's depth, and force a DC to pick poison with 20 seconds left and no timeouts. This is how teams stop hoping and start dictating. Now, a reality check. You'll only hear here, this might not happen. It could be leverage smoke. It could be priced out. It could be a whisper designed to move something else on a different board. But sometimes you measure a franchise not by the moves it makes, by the moves it's willing to consider. If this front office is brave enough to ask the question, that says something about where Chicago is now. Not rebuilding, not retooling. Hunting quick fan huddle because your fingerprints matter on this channel. Drop a 26 in the comments if you want the full cap sheet mock-up, and a film if you want the breakdown of duo, glance, and crack toss with Saquon as the gravitational center. I'll pick 5 comments for shoutouts in the next video, and we'll go deeper than any national show will. Picture Week 1 at Soldier Field. First drive, 2nd and 7. Motion across, linebackers bump, safety cheats half a step. The QB rides the mesh, the back sticks his foot in the ground, and suddenly it's 3rd and 1 with a crowd that sounds like a freight train. Next snap, same look, only this time it's play action, and the ball is whistling above a linebacker's ear hole to a slant that moves chains and melts morale. That's not highlights, that's a plan. I'll leave you with the question that keeps defensive coordinators awake in hotels the night before they play us. What do you do when Chicago canna win left-handed and right-handed on command? That's what this rumor threatens to create. Maybe it never leaves the rumor mill. Maybe it's impossible. But if even a sliver of it is real, you'll feel the building lean forward before anyone admits it. That's your cue. Hit like if your heart rate didn't drop once. Subscribe if you want the cap and film breakdowns the second there's movement. And tell me below, right now, would you trade tomorrow's unknown for the chance to weaponize today? Chicago, we've waited long. Enough. If the door opens even a crack, this is the year you kick it off the hinges.